Hello and welcome back to another deck idea brought to you by Double Sleeved. Today we're going to be going over the upcoming BEERUS list coming up in the next set, Realm of the Gods. I think we've seen a lot of lists for this deck and a lot of similarities between all of them. But today we're going to go through each of the cards, go through them individually so any new players can kind of get a bit more familiar with it. Let's jump into it. Starting off, we've got BEERUS. Worth noting here that this leader starts on 15k on the Unawakened side, which is pretty uncommon in this card game. Usually we're starting on the 10k Awakening going to 15, but this time we're going to be starting on 15k. But the downside to that is we have this permanent here. You start the game with 4 life. We've got an activate main, switch this card to rest mode, draw 1. Additionally, if you have no battle cards in play, choose up to 1 green Universe 7 card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. And then we have an awaken of when your life is at 3 or less, you may draw 2 cards, switch one of your energy to active mode, and then flip this card over. We've seen leaders start with less life than 8 in the past. King Piccolo probably being the biggest. Definitely is a bit of a handicap. Obviously, they've tried to counteract that 15k with the lower life, but you are losing out on a bit of draw there. Well, not so much draw, but those cards that you take from life. But we're forcing our opponent to have to combo on their Unawakened side to deal damage. We're able to draw and get our effect without having to attack. So we don't need to necessarily attack and force our opponent to awaken. We can kind of delay that. But once we get to 3 life, so once we lose 1 life, we can awaken. And then on the opposite side, we have BEERUS, victory at all costs. Again, 20k, as I said before. We've got an auto when this card attacks, draw 1 card. And then additionally, if you have no battle cards in play, choose up to 1 green Universe 7 card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it. And then auto once per turn, Spirit Boost 1. When one of your battle cards attacks and KOs an opponent's battle card, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. We're going to see a lot of the cards in this deck do revolve around either KOing our opponent's battle cards in battle or being KO'd. So jumping into the deck, we've got the Nameless Planet. The field card has barrier to 1 cost. Auto once per turn. If your leader card is a green BEERUS or green Champa card at the end of a battle where one of your green battle cards attacks and KOs an opponent's battle card, place that card under this card from your opponent's drop area. And then auto, if your leader card is a green BEERUS or green Champa card and you switch this card to rest mode, when your opponent attacks, choose up to 1 of your green battle cards in rest mode with the same universe special trait as your leader and switch the target of attack to that card. And then we've got the activate main. If there are 5 cards owned by your opponent under this card, you win the game. So a really good effect that we can kind of switch the target of attack to one of our battle cards, force that card to be attacked and KO'd, getting numerous effects from there, which we will go over. And then we've got referee introducing the fighters. A 1 cost, 1000 power, activate main. If your leader card is a green BEERUS or green Champa card, you'll see that a lot of these cards can work between either deck. There's a lot of similarities between the two, and you place this card in its owner's drop area, choose 1. You can activate up to 1 the Nameless Planet from your deck, then shuffle your deck. Or if your opponent has no battle cards in play, your opponent reveals their hand and you choose 1 battle card with an energy cost of 3 or less from it and play it in your opponent's battle area. Which is a pretty cool effect. You know, we can kind of force our opponent to start playing these battle cards, and that way we can begin attacking into them as well. So if our opponent's trying to go against our strategy and not play any battle cards, we can force something onto the field, you know, a super combo or something like that, that's 10k or 5k or even 1k in some situations, and that way force our opponent to have to kind of get rid of this card one way or another, or combo to save it. Moving into some of the battle cards that are going to be attacking, we've got Piccolo to battle Universe 6, a 2 cost, 2 specified green. Permanent, during your turn, this card gets plus 10,000 power and can attack battle cards without barrier in active mode. Then we've got the permanent, if your opponent has no battle cards in play, this card gains critical. And an auto for 1 green. When this card is KO'd, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 green Universe 7 card with an energy cost of 3 in your hand and play it. So we're going to see a couple of these cards that can attack non-barrier cards in active mode, which is really good if we're able to play referee, force, you know, a lower power battle card onto the field, and then we can start attacking them in active mode. And if we're able to clear everything, then we can at least deal some critical pressure to our opponent. This card is only 5k, so once it's attacked, we pass over to our opponent. We can use the Nameless Planet to force our opponent to attack this card, triggering its auto to being able to play out an even better card. SS Vegeta to battle Universe 6, another 2 cost, 5k, same permanent. We gain plus 10,000 and can attack battle cards without barrier in active mode on our turn. And then a permanent, if our opponent has no battle cards in play, this card gains double strike. And then the same auto for 1 green when it gets KO'd. Draw 1, choose 1 green Universe 7 card, energy cost of 3 in your hand, and play it. One of the 3 costs that we have in the deck is SS Son Goku to battle Universe 6. 3 costs, 2 specified green, 20k, double strike, permanent. This card can attack battle cards without barrier in active mode. Same effect. Permanent, if your opponent has no battle cards in play, this card gets plus 5,000 and critical, coming a 25k double strike critical. And when it gets played using a skill, draw 1 card. Really strong card to be playing off either the Piccolo or the Vegeta's effect. Then we've got SSB Vegeta, Lost Kingdom's Pride. Incredible art on this card. I really enjoyed this scene in Dragon Ball Super, so it's awesome to see the conclusion to Vegeta and Cabba's fight in our card game. 20k dual attack, and then worth noting that this is a 2 cost for 10k combo. If your leader is green and you have 3 or more energy, at the end of a battle in which this card was used in a combo from your hand, play this card from your drop area, and an auto once per turn when this card attacks and KOs an opponent's battle card, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. So it can be really good if we're attacking into our opponent's battle cards to combo this, get that extra 10k, force our opponent to either let the battle card be KO'd, going under our Nameless Planet, or they can combo out and lose a bunch of cards from hand. Either way, they're still going to have to deal with a 20k dual attack that comes onto the field. Next, we have one of the stronger cards that I think coming out of Realm of the Gods, hit Assassin's Strike. It's a 4 cost, 3 specified green, 20k barrier dual attack. We've got the auto for 2 green energy. If your leader card is green, your opponent has 2 or more energy, and this card is in your combo area. When one of your green battle cards attacks and KOs an opponent's battle card, play this card from your combo area. And then what makes this card so good is we've got auto limit 1. If this card is in rest mode, when your opponent attacks, they may choose 2 cards in their hand and discard them. If they don't, negate the attack and your opponent can't attack for the turn. Just an absolutely incredible effect. We've seen a lot of really strong floodgates in the game at this point for all colors, but being able to force our opponent to either discard 2 cards or negate the attack and they cannot attack anymore is just incredible. It is quite tricky to get this card onto the field. Obviously, we do need a combo with it. It is just a free 5k combo, but we do need to pay those 2 energy once that battle card gets KO'd. So our opponent can combo out of the attack that this card is in combo just to try and prevent it from coming onto the field. But we do have a couple of cards that interact with combo that give us really strong boosts to kind of force this card onto the field. And from there, it's just incredibly difficult to remove. Next, we've got Piccolo Cunning Strategist. A lot of people have kind of seen these next 2 cards within this deck. They do work really well with the strategy. So we've got 3 cost, 15k, auto, burst 3. So we're placing the top 3 cards of our deck into the drop area. When you play this card from your hand, choose up to 1 Namekian or Universe 7 card from your hand with an original energy cost of 4 or less, negate its skills for the duration of the turn and play it. So we do have a couple of different cards from this deck that we're able to play. You know, the Vegeta, the next card, the Piccolo, Kaioken Goku, some of the other ones as well. They're Universe 7s with 4 energy cost of 4 or less, but the main one being Piccolo Assimilated Abilities, a card that we saw come out of Draft Box 4. Barrier, 20k, activate battle once per turn, bond 2. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and KO it. If you KO'd a card, draw 1 card. Just an incredible effect to able to keep our opponent's board very clear. 5 or less is quite a large range. We see a lot of energy cost of 5 battle cards that are incredibly strong. these days. So being able to interact with them and plus a card on either opponent's turn is really strong. With that added tag of barrier on this card as well, makes it incredibly sticky. SSB Kaioken Son Goku Might's Calling, 4 cost, 3 specified green, 20k. We've got Double Strike, Auto, limit 1 for 1 green. If your leader card is green and this card is in your combo area, when one of your green battle cards attacks and KOs an opponent's battle card, play this card from your combo area, similar to the Vegeta and the hit, similar to the hit I should say, that comes out once it's KO'd. And then Auto, when this card attacks, choose one. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Or your opponent chooses one card in their hand and discards it. It's a shame that your opponent gets to choose, but we're still forcing them to discard, which is strong. And it's a 0 cost for 5k combo, so we can combo with this card and not have to resolve the auto. But if we kind of do want to bring this card onto the field, so we do want to be KOing our opponent's battle cards. The Unison for the deck to kind of help force our cards to KO our opponent's battle cards is SS Bardock Paternal Unison, specifically because of this auto. Should specify that it's a 2 cost Unison with 15k, but we play this for this auto. When your opponent combos, you may place up to 1 card from their combo area in its owner's drop area. If you do, negate this skill for the turn. We've got the +1 activate main. You may choose one of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 1 and KO it. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and discards it. And the -3 activate main, this card gets +5,000 power and triple attack. The +1, I guess, is somewhat relevant if our referee sticks on the field and we decide not to revolve either of the effects. We can play the referee out and then KO it with the Bardock. But yeah, we're mainly playing this for the auto of when our opponent combos, we can snipe one of those combos and have it removed. Works really well with a lot of the cards that we're playing. Obviously, we want to be comboing them and KOing our opponent's battle cards. So it does force our opponent to either combo more or let that card get KO'd. Either way, it's just a different form of hand destruction by forcing them to combo. Have to combo to make sure their cards don't get KO'd. They have to combo to deal damage to our leader as well. So if our opponents swing with their leader into ours, they have to combo a card just to get to that 20k. We're able to snipe that card away and force our opponent to combo another card if they want to push that damage through. Frieza, Charismatic Villain, a very common card in green. Counterplay, you can't activate counterplay skills on other cards for the turn. We get to play this card from our hand. Permanent, if you have a green Unison with 2 or more markers in play, you can activate the counter skill on this card for free. And when this card is played, choose one of our opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 7 or less and KO it. The super combo for the deck, Defending Father Paragus. When you combo with this card, if your leader is green and your life is at 4 or less, which will be immediately, draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card from your hand and send it to the warp. So we can immediately start using our super combo to put pressure on our opponent's battle cards, which is really good. Dormant Potential Unleashed, counterattack. If your leader is mono green, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that add up to a total energy cost of 2 or less and KO them. Additionally, you may choose 1 green card in your hand and discard it. If you do, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for this turn. And then the permanent, if you have a green Unison card in play, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. Really good at shutting down our opponent's turn if we don't have hit on the field. And then we've got Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha. It's a 1 cost extra card. Activate battle. If your leader card is green, choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards and it gets plus 15,000 power for the duration of the battle. And if all of your energy is in green, when you activate this card, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand and place it in their drop area. An incredibly strong card when you use this in combination with the hit. So if we do have that 3 energy available and we want to get hit onto the field, perhaps our opponent doesn't have any kind of barrier removal or any kind of good way to deal with this hit, we can attack into one of our opponent's battle cards, use the Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha, get some of these battle cards up to 30k, 35k, combo with the hit, get up to 35, 40k, things like that, and pretty much force our opponent to either combo up to 45, 50k, however high we want to go, or deal with this hit. When you use that in combination with the Bardock, we're forcing our opponent to spend a lot of cards just to kind of deal with our deck, which is what we want. We want to be in control of the game. We want to establish our strong cards and force our opponent to try and deal with them. And then the secret rare for the deck, the Wicked Saiyans, a really strong card. We've got ultimate permanent. This card is removed from your battle area. Remove it from the game instead. Permanent, if your opponent has 2 or more energy and your leader is green, yellow, or shares a character name with this card gains dual attack and blocker. And then the auto for 2 energy. At the end of the battle in which this card was used in a combo from your hand, your opponent may choose 4 of their cards and switch them to rest mode. If they do, remove this card from the drop area. Remove this card in the drop area from the game. If they don't, play this card from the drop area and your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and discards them. Again, some more hand destruction if we have the energy available, but it's also a 0 cost 10k combo, which again works really well with this deck, forcing our opponent to have to combo to prevent our cards from coming onto the field. But that's the deck. It's definitely something that should be fun to play at locals. It looks exciting. A lot of these cards are quite strong for green, which has been lacking into the past, but probably just missing a couple of key cards to make this deck very strong. But let me know what you think. Leave the video a like. Put in the comments what you think about BEERUS or Champa, which one you prefer, whether you're even going to play this deck. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.